Welcome. We're the Insectivores. If you don't know what that means, it's people who eat bugs. We don't eat bugs, but it's funny. As you can see, Daniel over here is really getting into some bug research. He's right here.
We respectfully acknowledge the University of Arizona's on the lands and territories of indigenous peoples. Today, Arizona is home to 22 federally recognized tribes, with Tucson being home to the Ohlone and the Yaqui. The university strives to build sustainable relationships with sovereign native nations and indigenous communities through education offerings, partnerships, and community service.
Introduction. How does soil pH and moisture affect bug populations? If an area has higher moisture and higher pH level, then it will have a higher and more diverse insect population because insects prefer more moisture and more basic soil. We investigated soil samples and insect specimens from 5 different sites along the site.
So the methods we use test tubes to catch the bugs, and we put them under a microscope, to try to identify. We also took samples of the soil using like one of those like the bars, and we brought the soil into the lab and we tested the pH and the moisture, and then we also looked at the soil under a microscope to see if there was any irregulations or microorganisms. There wasn't any.
So these are our sites. So our first site was up there next to the observations outpost. I don't know what they're called. But the next one was just up here where the staircase is, the broken down staircase. The third one was behind the gym. The fourth one and the fifth one was in the meadows.
Site number 1. So the average, it was also, we looked under that log, just for context. The average moisture level was 2.2%, and the average soil pH was 5.42%. We ended up finding 6 bugs, and we also found mold at the site as well as in our soil sample.
These are the insects that we found at Site 1. We found 1 baby wolf spider and 5 millipedes.
Site 2, the average soil moisture level was 3.8%, and the average soil pH was 6.42, and then just that.
So these are the beetles we found, the dog-veined leaf beetles. It was like 6 of them in one piece of like dried up bark. We didn't really find much like anything else other than like spiders, but like they ran away. We didn't get them.
So at our third site, the average soil moisture level was 6.6%. The average soil pH was 6.72%, and we found around 8 bugs.
So here's the bugs we found. We found this woolly bear caterpillar. He unfortunately did not make it. R.I.P. We found a black and yellow garden spider. It says black garden spider, it was black and yellow. We found a hammock spider, another kind of spider. 2 pale winged scorpions, who look a lot like spiders, but they're scorpions. 2 house spiders. And then the cricket, we haven't seen the cricket in days.
This is our fourth site. The average soil moisture level was 5%, and the average soil pH was 6.72%. We ended up finding around 5 different species of insects, but around 7 bugs in total.
The 5 bugs that we found were the black horn, pine borer, I don't know what that is, a spotted camel cricket, a burrowing wolf spider, and then y'all know what earthworms look like.
So for our fifth site, it was like an old campfire or like a burnt tree. It was like a bunch of ash. The average soil moisture level was 3.8%, and our average soil pH, being the acidity, was 6.24%. And we found 3 bugs. We only caught 2.
Yeah, and those 2 bugs included these mites. Actually, one of them we found in one of our soil samples.
So here's the moisture at each site. We did 3 samples each just because of the moisture checker thing.
we
kind
have
of has
14
issues with like compaction of soil and all that. So as you can see, site 1 was kind of the least moisture, hovering around 2%, and site 3, it has the highest peak, but also like has a big dip in the middle. So I think overall site 3 is the most moist.
And these are the pH levels at each of our sites. Site 1 we found had some of the lowest pH levels, and we found that sites 3, 2, and 5 had the highest pH levels.
The average moisture at site 1 was like 2%, and site 3 had the highest at like 6.5.
So our average pH, site 1 had the lowest, being at around like 5.8, it was up there, but it wasn't quite at 6. And then site 2, 3, and 4 had like similar pH levels, like on average I'd say they were probably the same. And site 5 was almost the same, but a little less, like it was a little less acidity in that one.
So in conclusion, we found that our hypothesis was wrong. Our hypothesis was the lower the pH level, we would find more diversity. The data shows that actually in higher pH levels, we would find more diversity.
But on a bright note, our hypothesis was also right, because we hypothesized that areas that have a higher moisture level would have a higher bug diversity, and that's what the data showed. If you look at the trend line, it's going up, which is good.
And these are our errors in method and data. We only have 4. Those being labeling issues, organization, Wi-Fi, and pH sensor not working. And then these are my insurance vehicle faces.
Do you want to give a shout out to
That's a go. David, too,
Dave, I guess.
Thanks.
Oh, Danya too. Our go.
Questions?
Questions?
She's funny.
What bug tasted the best?
You know,
Probably the wolf spider.
I'd have to go with some ants. You know, they're nice and juicy. Just like
I didn't see
first
that
in
on
your
the
mouth. It's
list
just
of
amazing.
bugs you found.
He sat at that anthill
He
for like
foraged
20
it
minutes.
himself.
Earthworms.
I'm just curious. So, if global warming were to worsen on Mount Lemmon and the areas and the sites that you visited, what kind of changes do you think you would have seen in your results?
Well, I think that the moisture level would go down, obviously evaporation, hotter temperatures, and all that. And I think pH might have also gone up. I'm not sure how that works, but that's just my assumption. Because pH is like acidity. You figure acidic soil, not a good thing. So you imagine it's associated with climate change, which is also not a good thing.
What factors at the different sample sites do you think contributed to higher or lower moisture pH?
So some spots were like more shady than others. Like some were more like in the light, and then others were more like under like trees and stuff. So I think those like the moisture in those like stuck more because the water didn't evaporate as quick.
I also think at the first site we did find some mold, and then site number 5 was like there was a lot of ash and like charred wood on top, so that might have affected the pH and the moisture.
Cool. So that's